welcome back to Creating Cool Stuff in Mountain View Farms. Today we are doing a greenhouse. I'm all excited about it. It's cold out here though.
It is freezing, and it's also called a hoop house, so we'll see how it turns out.
I think it'll be great. We're using cattle panels to build it, so stay tuned.
Hey, so I'm going to start with doing the landscaping fabric. We have it already pre-measured what our distance is to the fence line here. So we're just going to take it, roll it out to the measurement, cut it off, and then we're going to overlap it a little bit to the next blue line to make sure we have it even on both sides, and a little bit in the middle overlap, so we have, if we need to expand it, we have a little room to do so. All right, so we rolled it out till 34 feet. The house length is going to be 32 feet, so that way we have a little bit extra wiggle room at the front and the back, and then we'll do our next row.
Hey Daisy.
Well, hello there, Papa. You happy?
Yay, it made it. We had enough. Oh, lick in the face.
Daisy!
Come here, Daisy.
Okay, take two.
Being stubborn.
There we go.
There we go. We'll straighten it out now and overlap it.
All right, so we got it where we wanted. Now we're just going to tack it down with these, and you just put it in the corner where you want it, and just tap it in. We're going to do that on all the corners and then in the middle right here before we start on the outside.
Yeah. All right, so we got the 2x12 by 16s laid out on the landscape fabric, and now we're going to take the 2x4s and cut them into lengths to help put the 2x12s together to make the sidewalls.
All right, so we are joining the 2x12s with some 2x4s. We're made in 32 inches long. I cut one and then set the stop to it before I moved it, and that way you can just do repeatable cuts. So we just put the wood up there, make a cut, put it off to the side, slide your next piece up. All right, so now we're also getting into wood safety. That's not a great place to hold. So there's red lines on a miter saw or some type of line. You don't want to put your hand right here because you can get cut. So I'm not saying this is the right way to do it because I'm right-handed, but you can just do this to make it safe. All right, that's now 4. Gotta do 4 more. All right, to attach the 2x12s together, we are using these 2x4s that we cut at 23 inches. So we are flushing the front side because we're going to be attaching the 2 or the 4 together a different method than just using a 2x4. So we are flushing the front of these 2x12s and then screwing them together. And we're going to do that every 4 foot because it's a 16-foot board. We've already pre-marked right here, but because these boards got a little warped, we are using a clamp, and we're going to clamp them together to get rid of that gap so we can keep as much heat inside as we can. All right, so as we were saying, we flushed this up. I went ahead and put screws in there so it's just easier. Once I get it where I want it, I can just screw it on in there. We are flushing it to the edge right here and on the outside. We're not doing it super precise, we're just doing framing work. So once I get it, you know, by feel where I want it, put some pressure on it and screw one in. All right, because I only have one end, it still hinge left and right. So if that side's not good, I still have a little bit of wiggle room to fix it. So we're gonna come down here, get it where we want it, and then just go ahead and screw it in. Now that we've done that, we're just gonna screw everything else in. All right, so as we mentioned, there's a gap that we're trying to get rid of. So we have this bar clamp that we are going to use to squeeze the 2 boards together. So I already have it kind of roughly laid out where I want it. And have it on its side. That way it gets a little bit more purchase with the clamp. Instead of just going right here, we're getting a lot more clamping right here. So you can see the gap. It is shrinking up. And as we said, we're trying to do this because it's a greenhouse where we want to keep the heat in. All right, that seems to be pretty tight. So I got my mark already laid out. And as we're doing on the other side, we're squaring it up. This one we're just doing flush on the edges.
They are working on the middle piece right now.
All right, in lieu of having this covering that joint, I went ahead and cut a piece of plywood, and that's going to span that joint a little bit better and give me more surface to screw the 2 together, since it's just a butt joint. And then I'll come back and add that 2x4 over the top. But that's just going to give us a little bit more surface to add some screws and then make this joint just a little bit tighter and a little more secure, since it's just a butt joint. Probably overkill for what we're doing, but makes me feel better.
All right, we're going to go ahead and attach one side, and then whenever we get this piece attached, we're going to stand on it to get it more level, because we're on uneven ground. They're not sitting flush. Lost my bit. All right, so now that we have this one side done, we're going to stand on it and flush it up. So we're going to switch sides real quick. All right, so we switched sides now so he can stand and get it flush. We did check, and at least this side's flush, which is what we're going with. So now we're just going to screw it in. All right, so now we're gonna attach the 2x4 and just feeling it. I'm gonna eyeball it to make sure I'm centered. All right, we're gonna flush it up. So I'm really burying the screws. You could go with a longer screw, but I'm burying it. That way I'm getting a good chunk purchase on that, but also making sure I get a good grip all the way down to this one. Because if you look, you're just barely getting a grip right there. So by burying it, you're getting a lot better purchase on it and making it a stronger joint. So as I was going in on that one, I angled it because I was thinking it's a little close to the joint. So I angled it to get more meat of the 2x12 by 16. So, and we're just gonna add 4 more screws, 2 more on each board. And go closer to the edge this time. All right, now I gotta do the other side. All right, so this is a tip we picked up after doing 16 boards, just about. You can actually do this part, adding the screws, standing up. Who knew? So we have one more board to do. We're gonna attach it to that. So we just wanted to point out that you don't have to be dumb like us and do it on the ground. You can do it standing. All right, so on the back wall, we cut these boards to 10 foot. We are going to attach them to each side, but just for stability purposes, we're also going to put another board on here. So we measured out 5 foot, and we're going to eyeball it and center this 2x4 on those marks. Would have been more helpful for me to put the mark on the outside instead of right where the board's going, but you live and learn.
Okay, now we've got everything all framed up and we're about to stand the side wall and attach it to the back wall. All right, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. That booger's heavy. All right, now.
All right, don't try to lift against me.
Okay.
You're just pinching this, it's breaking. Stop.
Well, that didn't go as planned. A lot harder than expected. So we had an emergency cut. It's all hands on deck. But hey, we got it standing. The center joint, the plywood, held, but it bowed. Seriously. And it took a lot of doing to get it straightened back out, to get it in a straight line. But we do have it to where we can get the back wall tilted and attached now. It's going to take it took every bit of 3 hands, 4 hands to do it. Miss Amanda behind the camera there jumped in and helped, and yeah, when it's all attached, you got green pressure treated wet wood
That was frozen this morning?
that was frozen together this morning.
It's heavy.
Vastly underestimated the weight and how hard it would be to pick it up and move it to the edge of the plastic like we wanted it. So yeah, that didn't go as planned, but we got it under control.
Yay.
All right, so we have already pre-staged it because, as we mentioned, this is super heavy. So we're just going to rotate it up and then we're going to screw it. One tip that I was thinking of as I was looking at it, whenever we're screwing here, we got to make sure we miss our screws previously. So that's just something to look out for because you don't want to hit metal on metal. We're also using 3.5-inch deck screws to attach it. So as I said, we already had this pre-done, so you don't have to hear us grunting. These you don't have to bury like we were the other ones because they're longer screws. So we're just going to do one on each board and then do 2 on each board in that way, like this.
Everybody got it?
Yep. You are killing that joint here, cracking.
Yep.
All right, Christy, get on the inside, or you're fine actually. Hold on, I'm not ready. All right, I need to kick out at the bottom.
Kidneys.
What?
We are bowed still. Christy's side needs to come in, or go back towards the house.
More?
That's probably good enough.
That's real close.
And what is the measurements of this piece of wood?
2 foot. 10 foot long.
And this is for where we're going to have the door opening here.
Yeah.
And we are going to have a window in the back for ventilation. Let's turn it along.
Okay, so we're starting the installation of the panel. And I've seen some put them on the outside, I've seen some put them on the inside, and I'm going to try to put them on the top. I think gravity's going to be working with us, and this will be a good support for it to stand on. So we're using these fencing staples, and we're just going to secure it right to the top.
What size cattle panels are these?
These are, they're 50 inches tall by 16 foot long. And this is a 1.25 inch fence staple.
And he's just doing 4 on each panel, or 4 per panel right now.
Okay.
And you put this cattle panel with the, what do you call it, just
The wire.
the wire part on the inside.
Yeah, that goes lengthways. The long way of the house is going to be on the inside, so that the plastic will ride on the part that goes the narrow way. That's, I think, will help us when we're pulling the plastic over. It shouldn't get caught on these horizontal strips. It should ride over these. Anyway, that's the thought. I don't know the correct terminology, but that's what I was thinking anyway. All right, so we're gonna try to rotate this up, and look at there, it becomes a hoop. Now we'll whoop, let that come to the front edge, put it right in the center, and I'll hold it. Just see, look at how wet that wood is. That's typical of any treated wood we've ever worked with.
I do not have superior hammering skills. As I said, it's close enough for government work.
Now, I am 6 feet tall, and I can stand flat-footed and reach 8 feet, so this is every bit of 7'10". That would be 8 feet right there. So plenty of headroom in here. That's 10 feet wide by 32 foot long.
Trying to assembly line it.
cattle panel has been put up on the sides. This is what it's looking like. And right now, I am going through and using some zip ties, like every third one, and zip tying it together, making sure to leave this on the inside, so its plastic will be going on the outside. I was wrong. We had one more. It's looking good.
Hello, welcome to day 2. Didn't get it quite wrapped up in one day like I'd hoped, but you know, things never quite go as planned around here as you'd think. I think where we left off, we didn't have this door framed in. That was the last thing we did yesterday before we called it a day. We put in a 3-foot door. I think that's going to be plenty big to get wheelbarrows and whatnot in and out. So just determine the center line, measured out 1.6 on either side, stood 2 2x4s, put a little header across, and then right in the center, just figured out what the measurement was here to give the support to the cattle panel at the top. And then to add some additional support to this 2x for the door, went from the side here with just some screws across, and likewise on the other side. And that's it for the front of the house panel. We'll construct a door, wrap it with plastic, have hinges, but that'll be yet to come. I'll show you that in a few. Let's go to the back. All right, Windows 2021. This isn't software, this is hardware. So what we're going to do back here is we've had this window sitting in the basement from a garage build we did at an old house probably 20-25 years ago. Been waiting and waiting for a project to use it on, and by golly, I finally found one. So we're going to take these 2 window panes and going to use them for the back window. I hadn't decided, and get with the missus and see if we're going to orient it like this or like this. Hadn't decided yet, but we'll put these 2 windows and hinge it off this center post. The center post goes from top to bottom. I don't know if you remember, we had this center brace in here, and then
Well, that's new. I don't think we do that.
yeah, took that center brace off because it was exactly in the center where I wanted this window to swing. This come to me, you know, when you're thinking right before you go to sleep at night. So hey, that would be a good idea. Let's take that off. Let's put this in. That way you got the support for the panel, the cattle panel at the top, and it'll also act as a hinge point for these windows. I don't know if we'll hinge them this way or might do something else. I don't know. No plans. We're just going along, constructing it as we go, trying to figure it out. But I do have the hinges bought already. I did kind of figure we'd have 2 windows, so we're good to go on hardware for that. But we'll come back when we get that a little bit further along and show you what we got. All right, so this is what we came up with. The 2x4s are the only things that are for strength. The 1x4s are strictly for nailing the plastic off to. They offer no structural value whatsoever, except maybe give it a little more rigidity because of the triangles to it. But the 1x4s are for nothing more than just attaching the plastic to once we get it all plastic in. So we did decide to hinge it in the middle. We got barrel bolts on the inside. And then in the summer, when we're trying to cool it off, we'll come up with some way to attach it in the middle, and that will allow for a nice southerly breeze to come through and hopefully cool it off, because around here in the summertime it is hot, and I'm sure it'll be very, very hot in the greenhouse. So that'll be a welcome relief for anything we have in there going. So this is the end wall. We still have just a little bit to go on the front wall, mainly just for something to, again, nail plastic to. But other than that, and framing a door, we're about ready to put plastic on.
Woohoo! Hey everybody, welcome back. We have gotten this finished up. The front of the greenhouse.
Put a brace on there just because it's a door, and because it's going to get used going in and out. There'll be a door swing on there, hinge side and the latch side. Just thought we better put an extra 2x4 brace on there just to brace it up, and it will add the extra point to nail the plastic to. So 2 jobs in 1. So that actually finishes up the framing. Next step will be to put the plastic on. So
yeah, and we didn't want to start it tonight because we don't get it finished. It could be raising up and down, and didn't want that to happen. So that's for another day.
So check us out when we do part 3. Well, it'll be all one video, but it's day 3 for us.
See you soon.
All right, day 3 on the greenhouse build. It's like day 85 for us. No, not really, but seems like it's taking forever with the rain that we've had to deal with. We got the door up. We upcycled, recycled, reused an old screen door that we had to keep from buying another one or constructing one. So we've got it put in. Had to make a little adjustment to use the door that we had. We framed out for a 36-inch opening, and I think this is a 32-inch door, so we just added a 1x4 filler piece. Beats framing out a whole new door. Okay, next thing we've got to do is put on this pipe insulation on the edge of the cattle panel to protect the plastic. This will help this sharp metal edge from puncturing the plastic, and you know, you don't want the plastic to be punctured. Air infiltration is not good for a greenhouse. So yep, we'll do that next, and then we'll get the plastic out, cut it to length, and start draping it over. So that'll be next. All right, so it's as easy as spreading it out, putting it on. Also, I saw a video, is Stivers Family Homestead or Stivers Farm, one of the 2 videos that we got the idea to build this from. He had mentioned pool noodles do the exact same thing if you happen to build one of these in pool season, which I thought was a great idea because these are like $3 a piece, and you can usually get pool noodles for about 99 cents at the dollar store. But you can tell it's not pool season. It's about 45 degrees overcast today, and this is all that was available, so this is what we got. But you just open the split up, put it on the edge, follow it around. And once you get it in place, they're on these, since it's pipe insulation and not a pool noodle, it has adhesive to seal it. So once you get it in place, you can just pull the sticker off. And there you go. Just put on, ready to go. This is gonna be good for a ton of laughs. Wind hadn't blown all morning. We roll out the plastic. Here comes the wind. So, never done this before. Don't know how this is gonna go. Bradley and I are not tall enough to get it over the top, so we'll try to figure something out. But this is greenhouse plastic. It's Sunmaster, 6 mil, about 24 foot width, 100 foot long. The greenhouse is only 32 foot long, but you got to allow from both ends. I cut it 49 foot. So here we go. Easier than I thought.
Yeah, that did go pretty good. Look at there.
Can you come to me some? You got
the boat load of slack on my side.
So can I come this way?
Still got more if you need it.
Okay.
Yep.
I think that's good. Well, it's done. After long toil, hard work,
5 hours.
5 additional hours, not to
Oh yeah.
add up how many hours. I'm tired. But yeah, we've got us a greenhouse. I am very tickled with the clarity of the sheeting, the greenhouse plastic that we got. I mean, it is super clear. But yeah, it's done.
Okay.
Let's go inside and take a look. First thing right off you're gonna notice is the heat. It's amazing how warm it is in here.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's not even been a day. It's overcast. Sun's not 100% out. And don't have a thermometer in here, but I guarantee you it's 10 to 15 degrees warmer in here than it is outside already. So yeah, super happy it's done. Always am after a large project like this, but yeah, can't wait to get growing in here. We're gonna have lots of projects going on in here. Like to try some hydroponics, aquaponics, but very first thing, we're gonna get tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes going in here. So check in with us often. Appreciate you watching.
So this is it. This is what it looks like without us standing in front of it. Take you on a tour around the sides. You just wouldn't believe how warm it is in there. It's crazy. And this is the back. Round the back. And back down the sides. And we were going to put some tape on this. We just didn't want to cut it. We thought it'd give it more strength if we just left it that way. So we're going to get some tape and just tape it on. That is it. Next up are tables for the inside. Well, thanks for tuning in. Hey everybody, welcome back. Third weekend of working on this with a couple of weekdays. And we have tables. So excited that we have tables. You just don't even know. I'm gonna turn around and show them to you. Here we go. We started out, we were cutting trees and cutting them up, and we're making our own tables. Well, we really wanted to get in here a little bit quicker than it was taking us to get all these done. Even though it was a great idea and a great way to use some spare wood or spare trees that we really didn't need that were out in the woods, we decided to go ahead and just buy some timber and to get them done a little more quickly. And this is what we came up with. We have a shelf down on the bottom. And on the top, we just use some chicken wire on the top here. These are 8-foot long tables. That one is 4 foot. These long ones are 8. And then at the very end, we put 2 4-foot tables so that we had a little extra room, you know, at the very end to do some storage, things like that. That we just brought in some stuff here that we hadn't gotten into yet, that we had out in the building, and ready to get started on some seedlings. Yay! Thanks for tuning in.